Hello folks, I do hope you're well. Right, got a bit of celebrity news for you. Showbiz news if you like. There was nothing yesterday. Nothing was happening, so I didn't come to air. And what I've got is pretty thin on the ground, so I'm going to combine a couple of days' worth together. I noticed yesterday, I wrote the girl's names down because I know who she is, but I think I'll pronounce this wrong. Katie, is it Waissel? Katie Waissel? She used to be on the X Factor. I noted a couple of days ago, Simon Cowell came out and said, Liam Payne dying, felt awful about, really awful about. He said, you know, we had a conversation a few months ago. I wish he was still with us. He said, but many are laying it at my door saying that I should have looked after these contestants better than I did. He said, and I disagree, he said. He said, we got him in a band, he was earning a fortune, doing really well. He said, it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. He said, how long do I have to have a duty of care with these people for? He never said it quite like that. She came forward and said, no. She said, he has a lot to do with it, she said. The people behind X Factor himself, the team, all the producers, it was all a money-making thing. They never really cared about the act, never cared about us at all. People know I've had many mental health issues since my appearance on X Factor. I sought counselling pretty soon thereafter, and many have been the same. She said many went in there as young adults on the way up, and many got knocked down, he said, and many got issues with the mental health thereafter. It wasn't a good breeding ground for keeping you on the straight and narrow. Definitely not. She said, I think Simon and his crew could have done a whole lot better. Incendiary stuff. Peter Kay. Now, he's doing the rounds, isn't he? I seen him on the One Show the other night. He was on there with, was it Rebel Wilson, isn't it? I think it is, and Kiefer Sutherland. We know Kiefer from 24. And then next day, Peter turns up on This Morning. Guess who the other guests are? You've guessed it! Rebel Wilson, and I'm sure they said Kiefer Sutherland, but I didn't see him appear, but I didn't see it all. I flicked through it pretty quickly. I bet Sutherland thought to himself, oh no, not again. I was on the old One Show for last night. I couldn't get a pig in word in once they spoke to Peter Kay, and he couldn't get a word in at all. Peter, I tell you now, we keep saying it, but it is a strange transformation. It really is, and you've got to ask: is it meant? Is it a losing weight thing? Is he eating less? Is he eating better? Is it jabs? Has it been his health? I've always wondered what the reason was that he stopped that tour many years ago and went out the public eye. They've never said, and I'm as nosy as the next man, really. It's not my business, I know it's not, but I've always wondered what it was. I met somebody once out from TV, someone pretty connected and well-known, although not in them circles, not to do with light entertainment. He was from a sporting background, and he says, oh, I know what it... I met him at the time, probably about 4 or 5 days after Peter Kay pulled out and shut everything down, all his social media and whatever else. This fella said, I know what it is. It's common knowledge in the media. And he said, but I'd rather not say. I said, oh, no, don't worry. And then I've always thought ever since, I wish he had said, I'd like to have known. I wouldn't have told it to you folks that I know, but I'd just like to have known. I thought it was strange how he disappeared for 4 or 5 years. Very weird. And I would have thought when he came back, he would have said, well, you know, this happened, that happened, this is why I did it, but things are better now. Not that he needs to, it's his own business, I know it is. But I'd still like to know. Anyway, I seen him on the old This Morning stuff the other day. It was funny. He didn't have shut up that cat dealer, didn't he? He was talking, he was going, yeah. And he said, will you stop doing that? I'm trying to talk and I'm waiting on my next line for you to say yes or to say something. Stop doing it, it's very annoying. She laughed it off. I don't think she was that happy. Ben Shepherd next one thought it was brilliant. He said, oh, my wife has an habit of doing that, does my pigging heading as well. I don't think he used the word pigging. I think that's a word pretty much that I've started to own now, to be honest with you. That's talk about pigging. That pigging bloke off Celebrity, the one with the weird voice. See something yesterday on laptop there. He's now got another voice. Has he come clean and said it was a put-on voice? We always knew it was a put-on voice. I did. I don't know who he is. But nobody talks like that. Well, they don't when they come out of the womb. Well, no one talks when they come out of the womb. As they grow up, nobody talks like he did. Nobody at all. And I heard this voice of his yesterday and I thought, that sounds like a normal voice. He's not a normal person who goes on the show with a weird voice. I believe he's been doing it for 10 years. Or am I wrong? Is the weird voice his real voice? And the one I heard yesterday, a put-on voice. Surely not. It was too good to be a put-on voice. The weird voice is weird. The put-on voice is normal. I don't get it. I think it's strange. I think he's strange, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't really know him. Morning Live. This is the last bit. This isn't news. This is just thoughts again. Morning Live. It's on This Morning, and I'm looking for news on there. I always do for all the, the showbiz news. And all I'm thinking is they started with scam this, scam that, scam the big another. All they're talking about is scams. And then as the day goes on BBC One, they have two or three more shows, all dedicated to scams. And I'm thinking, isn't Morning Live supposed to be one of these? Do they call it a magazine show a bit like This Morning? I'm sure they do. It's nothing like This Morning. It's all about scam, 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 scam. And I'm thinking to myself, this show is a pigging scam. It's called Morning Live. They're supposed to be talking about, things that are going on in the world. Magazine kind of stuff for women there that are stuck at home feeding babies and whatever else, or maybe retired, who want to hear what's going on in the world like they do on This Morning. It's supposed to be an alternative to This Morning, and all they're pigging talking about is scams. And when they're not talking about scams, it's mental health, and when it's not mental health, they've got a recipe for you. Or they're doing a pigging dance from, they've got someone in there doing some kind of dance from Strictly Come Dancing, and you're thinking, Strictly Come Dancing? It's on every pigging Saturday. Then it's on every pigging Sunday with the results show. Then it's on every day of the week talking about Strictly Come Dancing about 6 o'clock on BBC Two. And I'm thinking, why do they need to do a pigging dance at 9 o'clock, 9:30, I nearly swore then, every bloody morning? I did swear then, but that wasn't as bad as what I nearly said. I don't know. I think it's a scam. It's an absolute scam. It should be called Scam Morning Live instead of Morning Live if all they're going to do is talk about pigging scams. Honestly. 9:30, Morning Live. 11 o'clock, Scam Interceptors. 12 o'clock, The Pigging News. 1:30, Scamorama. Scam, 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 scam. It's supposed to be a magazine show, man. I don't know. And they're paying licence fees for this stuff.